All right, members. Hopefully we don't get too much background noise. You guys can hear me. I think there's some neighbor over here with a weed blower going. So hopefully this video still comes out all right. Anyway, for those who don't know me, my name is Mike Power. I'm running for your position for EST for the New York City District Council of Carpenters. I'm running on the Stop the Murder, Stop the Steal, Stop the Lies campaign and slate, along with Pete Corrigan for president and Anthony Vincent for vice president. I wanted to start off by saying, I did a count of all the text messages and instant messages, and voice messages. I don't even get to the voice messages, probably way too many to count them. I got about 2,700 is what I counted. I apologize to anyone if I didn't get back to you. I'm one person. I don't have an election team to go over all these stuff. A lot of this is personal stuff that was sent through instant message through Facebook and through email addresses and other WhatsApp apps. There was another one I think I'm getting a bunch of them from. Please, if there's something urgent, try to put that on the highlight. I'll try to get to you. It's almost impossible for me to do. I'm doing my best I can to answer everyone's questions. A lot of things came out. We just posted the other day. This is yesterday. This is about the Central South Carpenters Regional Council. They merged a bunch of councils yesterday. 21 affiliated locals. Basically, similar to the stuff. This is no surprise what was going on here. This has pretty much been in the works for a while now. It's just another power grab in the structure of what they want to do. This is the same plan that'll be projected for New York down the road if they get their way on how they want to do things. Some people will benefit from this, but most people won't. And then, with a power grab like this, a lot of people are put into power to project the narrative that they want. I think the members in the long run suffer from it, but that'll be, remain to be seen. And what happens to them is going to happen to them either way, right? We can only fight one battle at a time. But I'm wishing a lot of my members out there, brothers and sisters, good luck, and hopefully this turns in a better direction, and hopefully we can get more of a democracy in our union than what we have today. With that being said, moving forward on our issues here, one of the major issues I'm getting for a lot of members is, retirement medical, and how all that's going to play out. Everyone needs to understand something. The retirement medical is separate from the pension fund, and that's based on reciprocal hours. Nobody is guaranteed retirement medical, okay? At any time, they could take that away from us. The trustees would sit down and make negotiations if the funds weren't adequate to do it. Or if we're merged into this general council, what would happen down the road, I don't know. And nobody can give you a direct answer on what's going to happen, as well as with the pension. The way they're doing this pension right now is they had it set up. We were under a federal consent decree, which is still a stipulation order involved. That's why this merger is different, and I keep explaining it to people. Some people try to make fun of it out there. But basically what happened was they hired attorneys to take that pension system off from underneath the stipulation order, which makes it possible for them even to move this money, okay? So our leadership, Paul, Dave, and Adam, they've been in the works to do this so that this can be done, that this money is going to be transferred over into this new funds, which will put other trustees to make decisions down the road. And my argument in this election is basically, why would anyone want to do that? Especially handing over a checkbook and all your money to other people to make the decisions baffles me. I personally would never do anything like that. I would keep New York money where it is. We've been in business for 135 years. Why would we want to take on other people, have other people have responsibility of our money? It doesn't make sense to me. I think we owe it to our members to give them what they signed up for, right? People join the union for pension, annuity, and medical, right? And with that, lifetime medical. Everything that plays a part with this, and how the medical got merged into these funds, and with the Blue Cross Blue Shield independent, and how this was vetted, to me seems very shady. The stuff they want to do with level care moving down forward with Frank Spencer is shady again. I think somebody needs to be in the room, and the system needs to be vetted. And I think there needs to be a forensic audit done on all these funds to make sure that everything is properly put there. I've heard speculations and comments about stuff that looks shady. Believe me, guys, when I'm elected and I'm in there, we're going to go through every aspect of this. There's not going to be no stone left unturned. I will get to the bottom of everything that needs to be there. I will. You have my word that I will go through every piece of paper in that building. I will have the right people in there. I will bring in accountants that I approve that are going to be in there looking for the best interests of all our members to make sure that everything is done right for us. Okay, I'm not doing this for no other reason. And if people did anything wrong and deceive the membership, I will do everything in my power to make sure that those people are prosecuted. And I mean it. And it's just everyone be aware right now. If you did something wrong, I'm coming for you. All right, that you can mark down on your paper for today's date. I'm coming for you, and I will find you. All right. With that being said, I guess the other thing we'd have to worry about is, I've been checking a lot of jobs and talking to a lot of members out there. A lot of stewards feel like they were put on the spot, and that that they feel like this election that there's gonna be retaliation against them if they come out and speak on our behalf. Me personally, you have to make the decision yourself. I don't think that they're gonna retaliate you in the way you think there is. I think they would hit a hard wall if they did that. I think sometimes if you come out and they try to retaliate you afterwards, you'd have a stepping stone to say that this is retaliating on X, Y, and Z. But I get it. Some people, they it happens all the time at union meetings and a lot of functions. Nobody will say nothing in the room, but when you're walking up the block, you step into the bathroom, guys will grab you to the side and thank me for everything I'm doing and for fighting the good cause. Someone's got to do it. Everyone handles things differently. I'm more of an aggressive person when it comes to it. Just who I am at nature. I'm not going to back down to people. People want to make false accusations and say I was fired from night shift. None of that stuff is true. It's all fucking bullshit, but it is what it is, That's the narrative, especially when it's given by people who realize their jobs are on the line, that, people aren't going to be tolerated for not doing the job. People are going to be held accountable. Transparency is going to be a part of this new administration when I get in. And for those people, it's a problem, right? Like, the gig is up, the party's over, right? They know when I come in there that's all going to change. People ask me how this is all going to work. If I win the election, I will know the November 21st at the day to count. I don't take office until January. A lot of people don't realize that. So there's a 6-week interim thing. How that's handled, I don't know. The last administration, since Donna, they came out under a federal monitorship. I don't know how they're going to handle the transition thing. I will be in court the next day with whatever stuff I have to put a halt on anything they try to do moving forward. That I will work out with attorneys, and I've spoken to some people about that. So I will get a game plan together on that in the near future. How we're going to work that out, I don't know. I don't have the details of that. I feel very confident this election. The emails, the messages, it means a lot. I've spoken to a lot of members. I've spoken to people that knew my grandfather, my father in the business. People have been retired probably as long as I've been in the industry. Go figure, right? Guys have been retired about 40 years reaching out to me. So the feedback is great, but the ballots will tell, right? So that's basically what we need to do. I could get out there and make videos, and I mean, my vision hasn't stopped since day one. If you look back at my old videos from last year, I told you guys about this merger and what their plans were and how they would go to court and how they were going to manipulate everything. I knew that they couldn't get rid of the stipulation in order, so I guess this is why they're doing it this way, that they're taking the money without taking everything, just pulling the funds away from us. But, eventually their plan would be to remove the stipulation order and eventually just take over the district council of carpenters. My gut tells me in that process, they will sell the building. I know Paul says it's not going to happen and everything else. They lied to us in the past, they lied to us now, and they will lie to us in the future. I don't think Paul calls the shots on a lot of things that happen. He's being told to do what he needs to be told to do. It's just, people have reached out to me from the building and they gave me their opinion on what goes on. I'm not going to get into too much detail so I don't give the people up who've expressed their concerns about what goes on in the building. But yeah, there's some concerns going in there. Let's just leave it at that. So, more lawsuits, it sounds like, are going to be filed, which I guess I'll be elected and I'll have to deal with. But we'll deal with that when we get to it. Right now, let's focus on what matters. And making sure we secure our pension fund and make sure we secure our medical, especially for retirees, and making sure our members are taken care of. God forbid if one of you are injured on the job site or something happens to you and you have your time in with the union, I want to make sure that your family's covered, and when these medical policies and this pension system, the way they want to do it, I don't want anyone else making those decisions but us and our trustees in-house, making sure that we're doing the right thing with the funds you guys contributed to make sure you guys come first, not what the international wants to do or another group of people want to make that hindsight and decisions above the way. Because when this merger would go through, if I lost this election, they could all just come back and say, hey, we voted no, the other trustees voted yes, and this is what's happening now, right? And they'll just blame it on them, and then everything will get restructured, and then the people that are rah-rah, pom-poms now, half of them will get laid off and replaced. They'll realize that their positions really didn't mean anything, and the other people will move up a step, and that'll be the end of the game, right? Which I don't think will happen. I think I've got a very good chance of winning, and my my lips are God's ears, right? Let's see what happens. Like I said, guys, I can only put the word out. I express what I think is going to happen. It's up to you guys to get those ballots filled out and get them back. Everyone's telling you that I can't stop this. I can't do anything about it. So first there was going to be no merger. Then there was going to be consolidation. We all know it's the same thing. Now they're conceding to it's going to be a merger, but I can't stop it either way. That's what they're going to tell you. So they put us in this position. They work behind the scenes to make this happen, and I'm going to do everything in my power to stop it. And I'm a proven track record that everything they've thrown at me so far for trying to throw me out of the union, false documents in my trial. I'm littered documents that were completely falsified, right? Blank pieces of paper entered as evidence, totally blank pieces of paper. And the trial chair allowed them, and they allowed to explain the blank piece of the paper to what they would be allowed to say. I mean, you could barely read them. There was nothing on the papers. And then they also took paperwork and they overlapped other pieces of paper, and they tried to put a heading on the top of it and say that I posted this online. It was secret documents to the council, all fabricated, all bullshit. It was just, and all that stuff that they were talking about was public knowledge anyway. Anybody really wanted to find it could find it. So, they had no choice but to throw the charges out. And if you read the transcripts, you can go on there and see it. But their plan was to throw me out of the union because they didn't want a day like this to come. They don't want anyone that's going to stand up to the members and stand up to the bullshit that goes on in this council. And they don't want the members to have a fighting chance. So, guys, listen, I'm not going to lie to you and say I have all the answers, but my heart's in the right direction, and I'm fighting for yous, and I'm fighting for all the brothers and sisters in this union. And you have my word that if they're looking to buy somebody out, I'm not the guy. I'm living a good life. I got my two babies right here. You can't see them. They're sleeping right next to me on the front deck. The other one's inside the house. I'll show you a little dip right here. Look. There they go. Look at them. They're both sleeping in the sun. They're living the good life, right? Spoiled rotten. But, between this and my fiance wife, whatever you guys want to call her, I live a good life. I've had a good shot at things, and I always find a way to rebound on everything. And I express to you guys how we can make the union, the brotherhood and the sisterhood a better place. And I think we can work out deals dealing with the building department. It would be one of my issues to get down to, and work out a curriculum to make sure we can get that type of training in, so we can get site safety managers licenses for our workers. It's not being dominated by non-union workers and laborers. A lot of these non-union workers are able to pay for the labor, actually buy letters from the contractors. One of my friends who's actually a non-union worker, that's how he got his site safety manager license. He actually had to pay a company, and they worked the deal out and got him the paperwork he needed to qualify for a site safety manager's license. So that's the type of crookedness that goes on. And I feel that anybody should be, the site safety managers in the city of New York should be union carpenters. I mean, who better than the people who build the building and lay out the floors and build the safety? Why would we be giving that to laborers who sweep the floor? It doesn't make any sense to me. But it's one of the things I will try to fix. And I think when I make that phone call through a connection of mine, that I think I can just sit down and maybe have a cocktail or have a lunch with that guy, Jimmy Odman, I think his name is, Odman. Somebody I know knows him, and sit down with him and see what we could do. Listen, It's like everything else in life. You don't know till you try, right? You got to extend that olive branch out there and sit down with these contractors and developers, and we got to try to patch up old history and move forward with new ones and try to work in the best interest to put our members to work. And if we can lock down this work that I'm hearing is coming out, I spoke to a major drywall company. He's looking at all this work, a lot of office renovation work that's going in the city, and we're going to have to use B-rate carpenters in that, and we're going to have to use apprentices to try to meet that number. But I think he said it was $280 million worth of work, roughly, and it would be several projects. So you listen, even if we had to do something to get the first level of that work, right, and we have to give them a larger percentage to make that number up with that work. Now we could go organize the other non-union work going on in the city, and now we have a place to put them, right? It's very hard to organize work when you can't just organize a non-union guy. And meanwhile, what are you organizing for? We don't have the work. So now we take those non-union guys, we use them to do those jobs that we got for those contractors with those rates. And maybe let's say we had to give them 55% at the B rate with the apprentice waiver. We got the other 45% with the A rate guys for the job. So then as we start to get that work, we got to start somewhere, right? We're behind the eight ball now. We got to start somewhere, I guess. So we move forward with that. And then, now by the next contract or a year later, maybe we're going to get those numbers down to 40% on the next set. And then, we'll tell them, listen, we want not the one project, we want all 5 projects, and we'll give you the deal like this. And then we move forward, right? And then as we sign these non-union guys up, or we take these non-union people out of the workforce and bring them on with us, it makes it harder for those non-union companies to function, right? If they have 2 choices: either become signatory or start paying their workers a lot more money, right? Because they're going to go, any non-union guy is going to take the B rate that can get in there and get medical for their families, and it gives somebody an opportunity to join the union. Because at the end of the day, they're not our enemy, right? It's developers and the contractors that are the ones exploiting the workers. And let's push a campaign on that. That's going to be the big thing. Like, we talk about this political power that's out there, but yet these contractors are exploiting workers, and it's still going on today. It's why unions were formed in the first place. So if we can get out there and start really hammering down on that, and even on these PLA jobs, I've been walking jobs over the last couple of weeks, and I've seen a lot of jobs that aren't called in. I've been on job sites in hospitals where contractors are working, and they have no shops doing it. It's not my ability right now to be involved in all this stuff. I can only do so much in a day. And I've called in many, many jobs and dealt with a lot of problems in the scaffolding industry and a lot of stuff with night chair. And someone's got to get out there and hit the beat and train these business agents, organizers to really start doing their jobs. And I think I'm going to be the person that has to get that done. And we're going to have to really get the right people in there and start holding people accountable. So with that being said, I think we're in the right path. I thank everyone for their support. Got another week, and then the ballots come out. So all I can ask everyone to do is fill out your ballot. If anybody wants to make a video or do something like that, support our slate, I would really appreciate it. I'll post it on my site. The more the merrier, guys. Send them in, and ladies, everybody, brothers and sisters, if anybody wants to do support, send it in, and we'll get it up on the web feed, and that'll be good. Show everybody, that we're standing together in this. We're standing united, pushing forward. And I think we could just get those pictures out when you sign your ballots, and make your phone calls and call everyone on your phone and make sure they're sending their ballots in, and push it. Because if we can get these numbers up, I think we can win this. And if we win it, we're definitely going to see change. And I promise you'll see quick action. You're going to see I think you guys will be amazed at how fast we operate, and the right people that I have in mind to change the administration and hold people accountable and the transition very quickly. You're going to see major changes. So, and we're going to put our members back to work. And that's my main goal here. All right. And that being said, everybody, listen, have a safe day at work and a safe trip home. And, it's all about family and our brotherhood and sisterhood. So let's make that happen. All right. Thank you again for your support.